You are watching KEVU News Now at 10.
Good evening and happy Veterans Day. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Adam Seibel. Community members came together today to celebrate our local veterans here in the Crossroads and beyond. The local veterans of foreign wars, Post 4146, hosted their annual Veterans Day event today. A parade had originally been planned, but due to the weather, events were moved indoors. But that didn't stop the celebrations. It was a packed house today at the VFW with ceremonies that included a wreath laying. Cuero Pastor William Chapman is a Navy veteran who came with his wife Clara and their dog Roxy. And they say they celebrate Veterans Day every year as it's important to them and to their fellow veterans.
It means a whole lot. If you was in the military, it means a whole lot to you to come to see your brothers and sisters together like this. It means a whole lot, and you know, we're unified. After you in and you get out, you still unified. This right here bring us together, and you know, and I appreciate me and my wife being here, participate in all of this is wonderful.
The VFW provided a free lunch and even sent meals home with veterans and their families. The VFW hosts a burger night every Wednesday and invites the public to come out and mingle with veterans while directly supporting local veterans with the proceeds going to help them. They're located at 2001 Lova Drive. Here's your viewer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Are veterans supported in your community? Yes or no? Let's take a look at these results. 89% say yes and 11% say no. Thank you for voting, and come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. President Joe Biden marked Veterans Day at Arlington Cemetery this morning. The president, along with the First Lady, Vice President Harris, and the second gentleman, attended a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. President Biden then delivered remarks at the cemetery's National Veterans Day observance, calling veterans, quote, the greatest fighting force in the history of the world.
Folks, as a nation, we owe them. We owe you, not just for keeping the flame of freedom burning during the darkest of moments, but for serving our communities even after they hang up their uniforms, for inspiring the next generation to serve.
This comes after the White House on Friday announced the expansion of health care coverage for the nation's veterans. Some 20,000 people marched today in New York City's 104th Veterans Day Parade. It's billed as the largest Veterans Day commemoration in the nation. The parade is an annual tradition that dates back to the end of World War I, when it was known as the Victory Parade. Although every service branch was recognized, this year's featured branch was the U.S. Army. One person was injured after a small plane crashed into a car in McKinney this afternoon. Authorities say the single-engine Landclair plane crashed into a fence and hit a car at Arrow County Airport when it failed to reach the runway during an emergency landing. McKinney Fire said its emergency crews arrived at the scene and evaluated the plane's occupants as well as the car's driver. One of the victims was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the cause of the crash. Drivers have been advised to avoid the area as the roadway will be closed until further notice. A police officer as well as two others were killed during an incident in Austin this morning. The Austin Police Department said it received a call around 2:49 a.m. from a person that claimed to be getting stabbed. Officers made emergency forced entry into the residence at 3 a.m. to rescue the two victims. As they entered, the suspect began firing shots. SWAT officers arrived on the scene and forced entry into the residence a second time, and the suspect began firing again. The SWAT officers returned fire. APD said during the exchange of gunfire, two officers were shot. Despite life-saving efforts performed, one of the officers died from their injuries, and the second injured officer was reported to be in stable condition. The two victims were found inside the residence and pronounced dead on the scene. According to APD, the suspect died from his injuries at the scene. Authorities say the incident was captured by police body cams, and there will be a memorial tomorrow. All right, it's time to talk weather on this Saturday night. We're going to go ahead and check in with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Howie Gordon. Howie, happy Veterans Day. I think you mentioned you had a family member in your family that was veteran, and happy Veterans Day to my dad, Rock Seibel.
Happy Veterans Day, Mr. Seibel. Happy Veterans Day, Dad, and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Yes, thank you very much, Adam. Now, rain's not been too bad today, but we could get some heavy rain tomorrow and into Monday. So yes, this storm, or these storm and moisture pushing in from the west, keeping us with pretty much, I don't want to say constant rain, but a good flow of rain on and off throughout the day. Here's our future temperatures. We're going to stay pretty much below average in the 60s all week until later in the week, that is. We're going to start to see a nice little warm up. Overnight, 55 degrees. I got a 60% chance of some showers. Winds not too bad. We're going to talk more about the rain and then our dry off and warm up coming up in just a bit, Adam.
All right, thanks, Howie. 4 major hospitals in Gaza are now effectively on the front lines of the Israel-Hamas war. Thousands of patients and civilians seeking shelter at those hospitals. They're dealing with continued shelling from Israel's military.
The Israeli military releasing this video, it says, shows soldiers and tanks on the ground inside Gaza as its war against Hamas continues. Meanwhile, Israel's continuing its airstrikes. Clouds of smoke seen rising above Gaza Saturday morning. Satellite images show several fires burning in Gaza City, including one spot adjacent Gaza's main medical center, Al-Shifa Hospital, where the injured are crammed into hallways. A series of explosions rocking the Indonesian hospital in Gaza. A reporter live on the air ducking for cover amid the explosions. On Saturday, Israel saying it has evacuated the Rantsi Children's Hospital. ABC's Matt Gutman spoke with military spokesman Peter Lerner. He said Israel is focusing on the hospitals because Hamas has positioned their capabilities in, around, and beneath hospitals.
There are thousands of patients who are wounded, some of them very severely, who cannot be moved.
They can be moved. There are ambulance services that are up and running. It's a matter of deciding to move them.
Israel has been urging Gazans to flee southward, opening humanitarian corridors. The Israeli military says more than 150,000 have fled in just the past 2 days, most of them on foot, but tens of thousands still remain in the north where the fighting is the heaviest. More than 11,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, and Israeli officials reporting over 1,200 deaths. The Biden administration says it will continue to support Israel, but there are growing concerns over Israel's conduct in its war against Hamas.
Far too many Palestinians have been killed. Far too many have suffered.
State Department sources have confirmed to ABC News a CNN report that American diplomats have sent warnings to Washington saying anger in the Arab world towards the U.S. over its continued support for Israel is growing, and that public opinion of the U.S. could be damaged for generations. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
Grab your cell phone, scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls. Learn all about our ongoing contests right there on the app and submit news tips and photos. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. And stay with us coming up. SAG-AFTRA board members voting in favor of a tentative contract with studios following a 118-day strike.
Could see some heavy showers overnight Sunday into Monday morning. We'll talk about it coming up in just a little bit.
I love Chris. I love
An escaped inmate is back behind bars after escaping the Lavaca County Jail. At around 7:50 p.m. yesterday, the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office announced Donald Keith Kirkman was back in custody. Between 7:30 a.m. and 12:25 p.m., Kirkman had walked away from a work detail and took off in a black Chevy SUV. The vehicle was last seen headed south on FM 318 towards Sweet Home. Kirkman was held on bonds totaling $130,000. He faces a drug charge and was on a probation violation. Jail records also show he was in custody accused of bail jumping, failure to identify, failure to appear, and for being a fugitive trying to give false information. A day after District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison announced she's not seeking re-election, the first candidate has announced he's running for the seat. Former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback wants to represent District 30. Louderback is a fifth-generation Texan with over 40 years of experience in law enforcement. He was elected Jackson County Sheriff 5 times. Louderback unsuccessfully ran for U.S. Congress District 27 in the primary last March against Congressman Michael Cloud. We've got 2 updates on the projects at Riverside Park. Crews are installing signage, utilities, and other equipment at the Riverside Dog Park, also known as Riverside Bark. The dog park will take up about 3.5 acres near the pump house area and is scheduled to be opened next month in December. And City of Victoria crews putting the finishing touches on the Riverside Park Duck Pond. Some of the final features include a planter box and waterfall at the new gazebo, safety handrails on the wooden boardwalk, and additional parking, including handicap accessible spaces. The duck pond also scheduled to open next month. Hollywood is ready for lights, camera, and action. SAG-AFTRA board members voting in favor of a tentative contract with studios following a 118-day strike. Now it goes to a vote by union members. ABC's M. Nguyen joins us now in LA with new details about what's in the agreement.
Laird, hit it! Hollywood is back and open for business. On Friday, the SAG-AFTRA board approved the monumental 3-year contract deal with Hollywood Studios.
We began this journey, the largest entertainment union in the world, and we finish it the most powerful.
So what's in the deal, valued at more than $1 billion? Additional compensation for successful streaming shows and a minimum wage increase totaling 11% within a year. And protections surrounding artificial intelligence. Actors will now be informed and paid if studios make any digital replica of their work.
Our members remain actively involved in the movement to protect all individuals' rights to their likeness.
Without you, we can't win this war.
About 24 TV shows going back to production right after Thanksgiving.
I will be having a third talk with your mom about what you're watching at home.
Like Abbott Elementary and Grey's Anatomy. Movie sequels like Ridley Scott's highly anticipated Gladiator 2, starring Denzel Washington, shut down midway through the strike. Now set to be released in November 2024.
Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
And don't worry, Marvel fans, Deadpool 3, starring Ryan Reynolds, promises to hit the box office next July. Actors saying this deal was all the motivation they needed.
The idea to make actors crawl their whole life doesn't work anymore. It's time that we are respected and paid. Then we do a really great job on TV.
As for what's next, the more than 160,000 SAG-AFTRA members have to vote to ratify the agreement. There will be information sessions throughout the coming weeks to share more details about that agreement. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Turning now to Hawaii and a look into Maui's burn zone with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers 3 months after the wildfires that devastated the town of Lahaina. Housing and health concerns still big issues.
Gotta move! Let's go, let's go!
It's been 3 months since the devastating fires in West Maui.
You gotta go!
This week, Hawaii's governor announced a $150 million recovery fund. Meanwhile, with no long-term housing solutions, residents fishing for change at this beach outside Lahaina.
This adds pressure into our county and government officials to find a solution.
While the cleanup is expected to take another 6 to 12 months, there are small signs of progress with the Aina, the land.
3 months after the fire, arborists say that the historic banyan tree here on Front Street is in a state of coma. The green growth, though, they say, That is a sign of healing, very much symbolic with where the recovery is at this point for this community.
For months, the Environmental Protection Agency removing hazardous materials from the burn site. Workers spraying a soil stabilizer over the potentially toxic ash.
Overall, it prevents the ash from moving away from the areas where it burned and becoming airborne.
The Department of Health confirming ash tests will begin this week as U.S. Army Corps of Engineers moves in to clear the debris. And while EPA testing in late August shows the air quality in Lahaina is safe, the Department of Health here still urging caution.
The fear is that material can be transported through the air to the school property, and that's a real and fair concern.
Leaving parents worried about the long-term health effects.
You're not far from the burns.
I know, and like today, where's the wind blowing?
Straight up.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad to know that maybe in 10 years we're gonna have, issues that may be related to this.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Strain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise and submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
We're going to get tried a little bit with some heavy downpour and showers next couple days, but then there's going to be some relief. We'll talk all about it straight ahead.
For more than a decade, meteorologist Trey Mining has served as your trusted face at 25 News Now First Warn Storm Team. But now, he faces a different kind of storm.
So I saw a neurologist here in town, and he says, I think it's Parkinson's possibly, but I'm not sure.
Join anchor Carolina Estrain as she presents Trey's Story, a 25 News Now Extra, this Thursday night at 10. Sometimes, the bravest forecasts aren't about the weather.
All right, so more rain on the way. That is right. You can see 1-inch daily totals, possibly, maybe even more. We'll break it down. And then warmer and we dry off later on in the week. So we're going to go through a lot of rain and dreary conditions, or that's all subjective, but either way, we're going to end it with some sunshine and warmer temperatures later on in the week. So we only hit 62 today. Feels pretty good, but with the rain and with the lack of sunshine, could feel a little bit on the chilly side. I put the heat on in my car, so we should be closer to 75. But look back at 1924, 93 degrees. So yeah, we're skewing about 10 degrees or so below average. That's going to continue with the rain and the cloud cover probably into Monday. Then in Tuesday, by Tuesday, we'll start to see these storms move off. High pressure moving in, clearing out our skies, bringing sunshine. Eventually, we'll start to warm up, and we're talking Wednesday, Thursday time frame. All right, here's what we have. We're seeing a lot of moisture pushing in from the west. There's more out there that'll keep following and moving into the area. And then probably by Sunday night into Monday morning, we could see the heaviest of our showers. We could see some heavy downpour, but really between Sunday and into Monday, we could see 2 to 3 inches in portions of the viewing area. Our dew points, they got knocked down from that front couple days ago. Felt really good. My house was 80 degrees. Now it's in the lower 70s. I had the windows open. But these numbers will start to be on the rise as we're seeing more moisture enter the area. All right, here's what we have for now. We have these storms pushing in. That'll continue to do so. Some of our heaviest of our rain, yes, Sunday night into Monday. Now, most of it staying offshore or along the coast. But, hey, I'm not going to rule out some heavy showers inside over land in the viewing area. And again, some low-lying areas could see ponding of water. Then coastal-wise, yeah, some areas of coastal flooding. The good news is some of these storms are moving rather quickly. We have fast-moving upper-level winds that'll help push, and some lower-level clouds that'll help push these storms through rather quickly. Because if they stay slower and start training over the same area, then we could have problems with flooding. But right now, at the moment, they're looking to pass through rather quickly, and that'll prevent some flooding. As I mentioned that, as we get closer to Tuesday and Wednesday, high pressure will move in, these storms will move off, we'll start to see sunshine, and we'll start to see some warmer days ahead. Here's our future tracker. Again, out of the west, look at this. Heaviest of rain, though, I'm talking coastal and out over the open ocean. But we're going to see some rain and some heavy downpour maybe Sunday night into Monday morning. I'm going to put an alert day for Monday, and then later in the week, again, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start to see everything clear off, dry off, and start to warm up. All right, here's our marine forecast. So 72 for our water, seas 3 to 5, occasionally up to 6. That'll keep us on the choppy side. Winds again gusting about 25 knots. So 55 degrees overnight. I got a 60% chance of some more rain. And then for tomorrow, I got a 70% chance of showers, a little breezy. Again, areas and locations of some heavy downpour. Yeah, that will be kind of nasty out there. Could feel kind of on the chilly side. So I'm going to put an alert day for Monday with the heaviest of rain, maybe Monday morning. But then by Tuesday, Wednesday, look at that. We start to dry off. The sun comes out, and then we start to warm up. Look at that. Potentially the 80s by the weekend. For more weather news and sports, you go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com. That is free with an Android and iPhone. And now we go to Sports with Zach.
Well, we had one more team competing in the playoffs. I'll have that in sports. This afternoon, we had one more team battling it out in the playoffs, and that is the undefeated Victoria Cobras, who took it to Jubilee on this very long touchdown run. We've got Phoenix Robertson, who takes it to the house for 6 to extend the Victoria lead. And Miss Dorothy Madden told me to make sure I get her great-grandson. Well, guess what? I did. Nick Holly punches it in from a few yards out. Now the Gators just needing one more touchdown to 45 rule Jubilee. That is a rule in homeschool football. So who do they give it to? Maverick Robertson, who slices through everyone. They can't catch him. And when he crosses the goal line, the game is over. Cobras dominant win today, 53-8. 2 more wins to become state champs. And while the West Warriors handled business on the road with their win, the East Titans stayed home and defended the turf. For the first time since 2016, the East Titans have won a playoff game, and that is under new head coach Charlie Reeve, who's done a great job in his first year, but the road gets tougher. They get an undefeated San Antonio area school this Friday, that game in Cal Allen. The Goliad Tigers also with a playoff win with a first-year starter at quarterback. Head coach Kevin Salazar and his Tigers were district champs this year, get a win over Foul Furious. Next up, they get Hondo, and the team they beat to get that district title, well, that was the Edna Cowboys, who have been absolutely rolling since that loss, taking out all frustrations on whoever may stand in their way. Cade Roda's long touchdown run right there is going to get the scoring started just a few plays into the game. He celebrates right there with Braylon Harris. That's only fitting because on their next drive, Jaden Clay is going to connect with Braylon Harris, who would then break a tackle, stay in bounds somehow, and just jog to the end zone. Edna's next opponent, Jordanton, they will play here in Victoria at Memorial Stadium. The Calhoun Sand Crabs win over the Zapata Hawks 62-36. Big offensive outpour from them once again. Jace Campos, who is our athlete of the week, shining, the senior, helping his guys to the area round. Next up, they get Burnett. And the Cuero Gobblers also beat Robinson. They win 24-3. Next up, they get Hampshire Fannin. And a devastating story this morning out of Houston. 6 people killed in a crash in downtown Houston. Amongst 3 of those, they were former University of Houston teammates. One of those players, DJ Hayden. That's it for your sports. Adam, back to you.
All righty, thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up, the Grinch visited a children's hospital. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon, Apple, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. A character known for his hatred of Christmas is actually spreading some holiday cheer at a North Carolina children's hospital. The Grinch made a stop at the Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem, visited with patients, giving them a chance to see their beloved character come to life. The Grinch is making his trip around the Triad ahead of a Christmas show at the Tanger Center there in Greensboro. So I like the Grinch. I think that's a good Christmas movie.
You know, I thought about dressing up as the Grinch and having my dog as Max.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Got the little was it like an antler? It's
yeah,
like a stick that's
antler
attached to his head.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I thought about doing it. Maybe I would have won the Halloween contest, but instead you two actually won it.
Yeah, we did.
Right? Who were y'all?
We took second.
Night at the Roxbury.
Really quick though, the Grinch, he hates Christmas. He's got to love Halloween though, because then he can dress up. Or that's his costume. That is his thing. So let's take one last look at weather. This is kind of Grinchy, at least for me, having the showers. And we could see some heavy rain Sunday night into Monday morning. You see a lot of that heavy rain, most of it staying offshore. 55 overnight, but hey, we will see a warm up later on in the week.
All right. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Howie. Thank you all for being with us. And again, happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day, guys.